Hey guys, Santoli here. I managed to go 9-0 at Lansing, Michigan Regional, playing Dracotail. I actually only lost one game throughout the tournament to Horus, because horse cards are good, like I've been saying. But beyond that, I told everyone else. Relatively standard Dracotail list, a few small changes in terms of hand traps. Overall, I think this deck's very good. I have a lot more success with it now and feel it's a lot better than I did earlier in the format. I think it's just time getting used to it and understanding that this deck is just meant to grind. Oftentimes when you try to close out games early and just get, pull ahead and put them on better habit, they'll have it and you lose those games where you can just sit back and just, let yourself get into a grind game and win those. The deck is very, very good at grinding. Even compared to stuff like VS and Yummy, if they get going fully, you can't beat them, but if you're forcing them off into half boards, you can feel very comfortable grinding with both of them. So get into the list. Sand Dracotail lineup, 3 Lucius, 3 Malulu, 3 Phimina, 3 Pen, 1 Urgla, what I did this time. Before I was playing more Urgla because I wanted to add back Phimina if I was going to beat Holy Su turn 0. And you didn't want to use Pan because you wanted to hold the Pan until the end of the turn in the event that they Holy Su. But versus VS, I just go second now, post side. Mainly because all the good cards are go second cards versus that deck. Both the Chummies are really good. Ogre actually gains value that way. Forces them to play into Nib easier that way. The other thing is the cards like Azuna and Holy Su are a lot worse when they're going first. Like they're just normal Yu-Gi-Oh cards as opposed to going second where they're cheating. I decided to play 3 Pen. You do need extra names, and since I bumped Urgla down, I bumped Pan up. There's an argument to play 2 of it. Once you get the new one, you probably cut one of these for the new one. But I really like multiple of them because what happens, I'll often keep one in the hand, one in the grave. And this grave card comes up multiple times throughout the tournament. Just people being silly and forgetting about, or even sometimes they just have to force something. They have to pop one of the non-Dracotail fusions, are really the ones that put pressure on the board. You get triggered this, you get summon a Lucius back, you get extra stress that way. Like I said, you're getting to grind games, and so these +1s off Pan searches do add up. Drawing it in general is just a good card as long as you start playing. So very happy with the Dracotail lineup, won't change anything there. Spell and trap, standard stuff, 3 Ketu, 3 Rahu, and then 1 of each trap. Going second into VS, I will take out the 1 Flame because it's hard to get value post, turn 1 once they've done everything, and you're usually popping start turn 1 when you're playing. Against any of the other decks going second, I still keep them in, so against, Dracotail or Yummy, I keep both of them in. You need them for the grind, you need them to actually gain value. I will also take out a Rahu into all matchups going second, other than Yummy, because they have Purge. I will take out a Ketu instead, because this is the one that lets you play through Purge, this one doesn't. Other than that, standard lineup. Not too much to say. One thing to keep in mind is you need to keep track of how many you have in the deck. There are some times where you're going to activate one of these, or you fuse with one of them, but you will not activate the effect because you do need to be able to set one to be able to activate the secondary part of the effect, like pop or negate. And so if you run out of names, you lose the grind. And so if you don't actually need value immediately off them, then you generally won't set them. Yes, on your opponent's turn, when you're already thinking about the pass back because you stopped doing any pushes, then you can set them. But going first, I'm not just setting random Ketsus and having them sit there doing nothing. I'll just keep them in deck because there are times where I run out of names. And then other engine cards, I played 2 King of Swamp and 1 Poly. People are on Cartesia or the Light and Darkness Dragon. I think overall that this is the one with the least amount of problems. It doesn't raise your ceiling at all, but it's just a consistent card that doesn't have any issues. Problem with Cartesia is it's double normal. So going first, it can be rough because you can draw multiple normals. It's not as bad because you still get at least fuse on your opponent's turn if they choose to Imperm or Veiler it. But going second is just awful because then you have too many normals and they will interact with it and drop it, and it's just really bad. Same with Light and Darkness Dragon. Yes, there's mega boards you can do with it, but the problem is that I'm fine playing a weaker engine and just ending on less board and getting into grind games because this card isn't a liability going second at all, in any way, shape, or form. It's just an extra push in the form of Poly, where Light and Darkness Dragons are awful going second. So I'm going to continue playing this. I might test the Magistus when they come out, or I will. Why does replace them immediately? Not sure, but I am happy with this just because, like I said, it has the least flaws. When you get into grind games, you want a deck with a little amount of problems as possible. And then non-engine, 3 Ash, 3 Fua, 3 Nib. I think these are all standard. Nib's like the best card in this deck. It's like the best deck for Nib ever because you can just keep looping it, as well as it triggers the Fusion of the Grade to revive themselves. And I decided to play 3 Azuna over Prulia. So the problem with Prulia is that I think it's just bad in too many matchups. Yes, it's good in the VS, but so is this card. This answers Joko really well. And the problem with Prulia is that the matchups it's bad into are just, it's really bad. Like Dracotail and Yummy will give you like 1 draw, maybe 2. And the problem is that people look at that and say, oh, that's fine if you're getting 1-2 draws off Prulia. And it's only good if you are getting those draws and your opponent's making a worse board. So if they're doing a mid board and you're getting those draws, it's fine because it trades with the board. But if they're just full boarding, you're getting, it's an upstart, like that's awful. It's effectively nothing. And so I don't like that. The other thing is like you get into a lot of grind games, like I've been saying. And so Fua, it's so good that I can justify playing it even though it's not amazing in the grind games. Although it does come up, post turn 1 where you can activate it and it does stun Yummy and the mirror bit. But Drunk Rule in a grind game is just awful. I think this card overall is just the best card into every deck that is not Yummy. Is amazing in the mirror, is amazing into VS because it can force out the Jokel ants, or it shouldn't say force out, but it eats the Jokel immediately, as well as forces them to play into nib. It just punishes weak hands. I'm just super happy with this card. It's good going first and second. I will not be cutting this at all. So cards with 3 Veiler. Again, people are on Ogre right now. I'm not a huge fan of it. Again, I don't like the flexibility. I ended up playing 3 mirrors at the event, and I think my deck was built best for the mirror because I don't have Perulias or Ogres in the deck. I think this card's just flexible. The biggest appeal of it is just Nib Veiler is still just the best thing. I only ended up playing 1 DS at the event. In both games, there's like go Fua, he ashes, and then he starts comboing. That's his Nib Veiler both games, and he just loses those. That's the biggest reward of it. It still is good into most matchups that are not VS exactly, or Yummy. And what I mean by that is like it's salvageable in those matchups you can usually trade. It's not insane, but it's just a card that's loopable. It's a spellcaster, you can use fusion, and it's just the fact that it always feels like it's fine is good enough for me in the deck. Go to the extra deck, triple Ethereon, double Gulmel. I said you could play one of this before. I've been back on 2 and I stand by it now because, like I said, I think I've gotten better with the deck, and you do get in these grind game scenarios where you do want the second one. They do come up, you do need ways to fuse. 1 Mysterion, 1 Secure Gunner, Sectarion Dragon. I'm thinking of links. Both these cards are just, you're kind of backup to go into. It's good to have both these because it means you can use monsters just on the board, just both your fusions to go into them. Not too much to say on those. I didn't play any of the fusions. I think the King of the Swamp stuff is just fake. It's very rare I'm fusing with a King of the Swamp to get one of the substituted monsters, and it feels good. Dragoon Stew specific, Tyrant Stew specific. I just like playing these, and it's good enough. Other cards, 1 Cross Sheep, 1 SP for the links. I don't play Seals because I think that is fake without having 6 Chummies. Once you have 6 Chummies, then it's more reason to go Seals because you can go Seals, go double Chummy afterwards, and then summon Lulu. But if you're only playing 3 Chummies in the main, it's just not worth playing it. And I decided to play a National Night package. I think this card is just the whole reason why Azuna is worthwhile. I see people not playing this and playing Azuna. I just think it's awful. I think Azuna is just an awful card then. This card just does so much. Not all times is going to matter. Sometimes, summon National Night, it sucks something up, and then they just remove it, and that's fine. But the games where this card actually gets a stick and you use double suck up, or we actually have the ability to rank up, is just insane. And because it has that ceiling is why I chose to play this. And there's nothing else in the extra deck I really wanted to have. You can play King of Swamps, you can play the Seals, but I think that they just don't come up specifically enough where like, this is more, you get in simplified game states, it's going to come up. Like it's always going to be available there as opposed to be hang dependent, and this is why I chose to play this package. It was insane throughout the weekend, do not regret it. 1 Vine as a secondary target. I don't play Ripper, I think that's really fake. It's very rare I summon the Azuna turn 0. I'd rather hold it as a surprise. But Vine just for the weird scenarios where you'd rather have the book and then the pop instead of the suck up, and then 1 Typhon because you're playing hand trap deck, you must play this. Side deck, just more hand traps. Here the Perulias are. You put these in the matchups where it matters. I'm not putting in the mirror or Yummy. It's just for the K9 decks, and you make some other nonsense. 2 Ogres, the other card for VS, just hitting a start. Like I said, I go second post side. I take out the 1 spell, so the 1 Rahu, the 3 Swamps, and then usually 1 Pan. And then you just put these in, and usually you have enough hand traps to stun them enough. And for the Yummy matchup, brother match with 1 Magma, I think this is just +1. Usually you're not actually hitting something meaningful with it. You'll trade with like 1 body off like Minion Revive or something. But it's still +1 unless you fix your hands like that there. 3 Phantasmage just against Yummy, and then 3 Bell for the mirror and Yummy as well. You get into a lot of weird game states with this deck where you just start grinding and then you're holding bells or the ogres even for not a specific choke point, but just whenever you think it's the most reasonable use. And then the go first cards, 1 Prosperity, 1 Call By because you want to beat Ash and Bell, and then 1 TC Boo for those matchups that TC Boo's good in. Overall, very happy with the deck. I'm probably going to continue to play this going forward over VS. I think this is much more my style. VS is kind of turn into a combo pile. Not to say that I don't enjoy it, but it's definitely less my style than this deck. I think this deck is really good once you kind of learn the intricacies of it and get used to just accepting the grind game and going to grind every game. Alright, thanks guys.